Just cut that part out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cut all this out, Blake.
Cut
that part out. Cut this out.
Cut.
Don't put any of this in.
Cut it out. Just cut.
If you noticed a cut in the podcast, it's because sometimes my mouth gets running away. Now people are really wondering, should we cut this out too?
When the kids are counting sheep, when the kids go to sleep, dreams and memories. When the kids go to sleep.
All right, episode 166. Here we are back on the podcast. Once again, I miss when we were shooting those flies with the salt gun. Is that going to happen again? I think it will this fall.
I only see one.
When all of them start coming in because it's wintertime and it gets cold outside, there's going to be flies everywhere in here because we live in the nature. And there were bugs all over our trees. Danny, did they spray the trees? One of the trees down there had pus coming out of it everywhere. You could see the bugs are like burrowing in the tree trunk. And like the tree was trying to protect itself and like all this, not pus, sap.
Okay. That was
Dude, I just realized
really gross
that
in my
tree
mind.
sap is tree pus. It's like human pus. Our pus,
I like the word
earwax
sap better.
is like, and it smells good for trees.
Can we just use the word sap?
Why doesn't our tree sap smell good? Our pus?
Okay, I have to leave.
But think if you're getting eaten by a bug, you'd have a lot of pus coming out to
I
protect
get eaten
yourself.
by bugs.
And that tree had tree sap coming out everywhere.
We live in a place where you get eaten by bugs, guys.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And you get pussy. That's gross.
Okay, so we're going to cut that conversation, Blake's telling us right away, and get into your questions because we want to chat with you guys, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to connect on a level which is different from all the other social interactions that we endeavor on the tweets and the Instagrams and the YouTubes. This one's more of a, we don't edit, we're just sitting here talking with you. Mm-hmm. Let's begin. What is the first question you have?
So I have a question from Jenny. Let me grab it real quick. Jenny asks, if you could ask your future self one question, what would it be? Future self, one question.
Are you asking me? Or are you?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to.
Oh, okay. If I could ask my future self.
No, that's what I said. You get some Twitter questions that you answer, and I get some that I answer.
Like we're not going to answer them together anymore?
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, you answer her question.
Okay. If I could ask my future self one question, I think that I would ask, are you living in the moment? Because that's where I feel like...
I would ask who won the last 10 Super Bowls.
Oh, shoot. I didn't think of that.
You were not thinking sports
Wait,
almanac
I'm not
wise.
gambling.
Oh, okay. Then I guess you're living in the moment.
No, but I feel like, because that's where you start to like, when you're constantly thinking about the future and constantly thinking about the past, you're not actually living. So if I could ask my future self in the future, are you living in the present? Then I know I'm living happily. I don't know.
That's a good question to ask.
That is a good question.
Here's a question about...
Because sometimes I don't necessarily want to know stuff about my life because...
Will it ruin it? It'll change it?
Yeah. I think about that with time travel movies and stuff. It's like, maybe you don't want to know too much. Because then it changes your journey and the way you take it. And then it wouldn't be the same. Right?
I don't know.
Because you already knew. But...
Wouldn't you be more encouraged to go in that direction if you knew that that's the, like if you looked and was able to talk to your future self and you were like, oh, I am successful and I did all this stuff. Wouldn't that give you courage in your present moment to be not so stressed about becoming this thing?
Well, I guess that's a catch-22 because if you ask your future self, like what things like, are you saying that you would ask your future self to know like where you're at?
I'm just saying if you could, if you could, say what was your successes, what are the good things you did, or even just see your future self and know what kind of person they are. And if it was a good thing, maybe you'd be super disappointed if you saw your future self.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like maybe if you know too much.
I think it could help, or like you think about Marty McFly, right? Like he sees his future self in what seems like a pretty successful situation, right? He has this nice house. He has a good job, but then he sees his dad, I always think it's his dad, but it's him getting fired by his boss via that text over like the big TV thing. So it's almost like you might say to yourself, it could give you encouragement to see like, yeah, I'm doing well. Like I don't need to stress out about these daily things so much. But I think the loss will be in the value of the experience.
You know what I think I would ask then? I would say, future self, don't tell me anything that's happening in my life right now. Just you give me one piece of advice that you feel like would help you
That you know I need.
That you know I need right now.
Yeah.
That maybe if my future self needed to change that and wished they could go back and change it. Like, what does my future self wish that I changed about myself and I could change it?
Quicker, sooner, faster.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good
Had a good
question.
conversation about that on the Tim Ferriss podcast. When you're thinking about what would you tell your 10, if you could go back in time, like I'm 36 right now. If I could go back and tell my 30-year-old self something, what would I tell myself? Mm-hmm. That advice is most likely pretty close to the same advice as an older self would tell your current self.
Right.
So thinking that I'm 36 now, what would the 46-year-old Shay tell the 36-year-old Shay? Probably the same things that the 36-year-old Shay would tell the 26-year-old Shay. So a lot of times it's like you kind of know, I think, what you should do. Like if you think back in time, what would you tell your old self? You'd probably tell your old self, don't worry, it's going to be okay. You're going to get through that thing. You're probably going to tell that same thing to your younger self if you were the older yourself telling your current self. Get it?
True.
Get it?
That's true.
I saw a question on here asking when we are going to come to Europe / the UK. Here's an interesting topic / scary thing that's happening. Is terrorism winning in the sense that people don't want to travel anymore? Is that a concern that you've had recently when you're like, hey, let's head to so-and-so. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to get blown up, or I don't want to get the Zika virus, or
I don't want my plane to be stolen.
Yeah. Is there this fear that like you don't want to travel now? That's a scary proposition that the terrorists are winning, because if we're all afraid of each other and we're all afraid to travel, I don't think that's good for us as a species. Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that's part of their goal.
To sector each other off and to like put walls in between us.
Because it's kind of scary when you
But
think about
I
it.
would be afraid to fly to Dubai, for instance, which is a very modernized, probably one of the most, have you seen that place?
Beautiful place.
They built an
Amazing.
oasis. They put Vegas to shame. It's like, but even just flying to that area and being in that area, it feels scary, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Zika virus is another thing. Like if you want to try to have babies, have you guys heard this? They're having Beetlejuice babies. That's inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say that. Their heads are shrinking.
No, but it's scary. It's like a real thing, and it's really scary for a lot of people. So
it's a very scary thing. So yeah. I want to go to Europe. I want to see all those things, and I don't want to live in fear, so I don't know.
So we don't have a plan yet, but yes, I want to say yes. We will be going to the UK at some point in time.
I feel like I want to just all of a sudden tweet one day hey, we're here.
I know.
Come see us. Or just get people's addresses and just show up at people's flats.
Yeah.
You don't call them houses in England. You call them flats. Blake doesn't know nothing about culture.
I was more thinking about how weird that would be.
He'd be like,
hey, remember me? I'm on the internet. I'm here to see you.
Who is this guy? What?
If you would not be...
How did he find us?
If you would not be freaked out by me showing up on your doorstep, please leave a comment below.
If you would not be freaked out.
And your address.
No, don't do that.
Thank you very much.
Don't do that in the comments. Okay, I do have a question. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Jakey Foster asks, do you miss your old house? And this kind of made me think, okay, we have a lot of old houses. So I kind of want to know which house you kind of miss the most. Like, was there something specific about any of the houses that you were like, I really liked that?
Think through the vlogs. We've had one. Can we even do this in our mind?
I don't know.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7, 8. I can think of 8.
Because I feel like we moved every year in California.
Like I say, we would live our lives one lease agreement at a time.
Yeah. It was exciting, actually.
1 year lease agreement at a time. Probably 8 to 9 different
villas,
settings,
scenery,
casas, flats. What was your favorite? That's a good question.
Sets.
What was your favorite? Our current location?
Well, yeah. Yeah,
other than
but
our
I mean, like,
current
other than our
one,
current
what was your
location,
favorite?
there's things I loved about each of them, but I have this little special place in my heart for the second house we stayed in.
With the bushes?
With the bushes.
Yeah, me too.
We would leave the door open because it was pretty enclosed, and the ocean breeze every day was just
Dude, and people would comment that every day.
Like,
why
your
is your
door's
front door
open.
always open?
like because we're living.
And it's so funny. I remember being annoyed. I'm like, just cuz, why do you care? But now I think about
Why
it,
do you
it is
care?
kind of weird. Our front door was just like, that's, if we were awake and in the house, we would just have the front door open. Because the way that the yard was, it was just enclosed with this giant green shrub. And the front yard just felt like a bigger front
house.
room.
Yeah.
And the kids were like on the rope swing all the time. And you're right. We were like right there in Venice, and the ocean breeze would come in. All the marijuana would get contact highs, just blowing in all the time.
Yeah. Can I tell that funny story?
Yeah, tell it. What story?
So we get skunks where we are now, and Avia smelled it. She goes, "It smells like California." It's like, you're right.
Dude, the
It
last
does.
2 weeks.
Like by the beach in California, that's what it smells like sometimes.
The dogs have gotten into 2 skunks in the last 2 weeks. There's one on the road. We need to go move that one. It's just like it's been slowly being ran over for the last 2 weeks. And it's becoming like a smaller and smaller
Usually,
pile.
like,
but nobody wants to touch it. Danny,
the
do you keep
fish and
running
game
over
will
it?
come and clean things up, but
And it just like makes the whole area stinky.
it's gross.
But yeah, I would agree. That was probably one of my favorites too. I also liked the one the one with the basketball hoop. The one
Yeah,
that had the upstairs.
the
and
upstairs
the garage.
and like
Yeah.
the backyard with the tree that the kids would climb.
This
yeah.
seems very obscure.
You guys know. You know it.
You know the one that had a backyard and a
Seriously.
tree and had a garage? Remember that one? That was a good one. All right, a couple more
Malachi,
questions.
we had to help him up and down the stairs.
Dude, that's where we lost Malachi.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a very nostalgic moment yesterday taking Gavin to football practice, and I took Zeke. You'll see it in the vlog. You probably have already seen it in the vlog. And Zeke jumped over the fence right where Malachi jumped over the fence. And I haven't done it yet, but I want to screen cap it and like put them side by side. But that's where we lost Malachi, because we were in that house that had an upstairs, and he would just like, there was this couch that we had up there. He loved to lay on. It became like Malachi's couch. It was like he just would lay on this couch all day. And all of a sudden it would be like he wouldn't come down all day long. And then like all of a sudden we're like, where is Malachi? And I'd go up to like see him, and he was like stuck upstairs because he couldn't walk down the stairs because his hips just, you know, as a Great Dane got so old. So I would get a towel and like put it underneath his haunches and like hold his
him up.
towel up and his front legs. And we did that for like a week and a half, where I would go up and get Malachi and, you know, grab him and take him downstairs, which was hard because he was like 130 pounds. Anyways, he died and we cried. It sucked. Your dog's going to die one day. It's going to suck.
Anyways.
Yeah. When Zeke dies, I'll freak out, man. I'll go crazy. You better
be
watch
sad.
out.
You know,
Sucks.
it's definitely sad, but it is a part of our existence. I believe you'll get to play with all of the doggies that you've lost in your
Hopefully.
life.
Or we'll just
After
be
you
worm
pass
food
on.
and none of it will mean anything.
Probably.
That sucks. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next time.
So anyway,
No, I read something somewhere that if you believe in resurrection, like that we're going to come back and have bodies again, I have read that our dogs will be resurrected.
I think they will.
Can you imagine Zeke and Malachi playing together? We get Skeeter, all the dogs. That's going to be too many dogs.
And then Bob Barker will be there. Remember to have your pets.
I told you, people! Heaven is horrible. Look at all these pets everywhere. Bob Barker out. See you next time.
So we'll see you next time on When the Kids Go to.
Kiss your dogs now, man. Kiss them now. Hug them now.
Because they're daughters. Leaving out a high note.
Bye.
I'm out of here.
We'll stay up, just you and I, and we'll talk about our pretty life when the kids go to sleep.